Hello everyone, how are you all? So again, the new day and the new topic. Your teacher Adnan Asghar is just in front of you. I hope everybody is doing great. So today we are going to continue our last lecture, the yesterday's lecture, in which we learned some descriptions there, in which I told you my way that how do I describe the things. I taught you people yesterday the use of there is, there are, and like that. And then I gave you some homework. I hope you have done the practice of speaking at your homes, the practice of describing your room. I told you that you should start from your home. Describe your home first, like the things that are present in your home. Try to describe those by using there is and there are. Then I ask you to move towards your street, then move towards your city, then move towards your country, and then in the final you can go through the globe. Means you can describe anything by using the simplest structures that I told you yesterday. Today we are going to talk about some determiners or the quantifiers. Okay, so before talking about these quantifiers, the use of a few, much, many, some, any, we are going to talk a little bit on the NAPWAPC again. Okay, my first lecture in which I taught you people about some uses of the parts of speeches, some uses of the words. Not the uses, indeed. In NAPWAPC, it's very essential for you guys to just recognize the use of the words there, okay, the use of the parts of speeches. So today we are continue our lecture from the first lecture, indeed. Okay, so before going towards today's lecture, lecture number 8, I'm going to teach you a very few things today. Okay, before going towards the lecture, let me just ask you two questions. Countable and uncountable noun. How many of you are familiar with these two types of the nouns? The countable nouns and the non-countable, uncountable nouns. Countable and uncountable nouns. Okay, I hope everybody is familiar with that. Let me just clear. Yes, you can type your answers in the comment box there. Okay, let me move towards the lecture now. Okay, here as you can see there, okay, before going towards the types, let me just tell you that what is a noun. In NAPWAPC, in my first lecture, I told you that entire parts of speech means the 8 parts of speeches, these all are the words. Okay, but there is the difference of uses of those words. Okay, so those words which are used to give the names to different things, to different places, to different persons, are known as the nouns. It means the naming words are known as the nouns. Okay, then we have four different things here. Okay, what is countable and uncountable. Okay, now look, what do we mean by countable? Countable means those nouns to which we can count. Okay, those things, those objects to which we can count. Okay, now how do we count? For example, the number of chairs, we can separately count each. Okay, any solid thing, we can separate each and everything and we can count those. Okay, for example, I'm talking about stars. Okay, we can count the stars, means we can separately count one by one each star. Okay, so they are also included into the countable. Okay, you might have confusion on these stars. We will clear it later on again. Okay, if you have any question, I will tell you in the last. So countable means the objects, the things which can easily be separated and be counted. Okay, and uncountable means the things that you could not count, the uncounts. Okay, uncountables. Okay, for example, the things which are in powdered shape, you cannot count it. The liquids can never be counted, and etc. Okay, we are all familiar with these two things. Now let's move towards count and uncount. This is very simple logic. Now count means the finite objects. If you have a particular number of the objects, the things you are counting, then they are known as the finite or the count. And uncount means the things which are infinite. Okay, count means finite or a limited number of objects, while here the unlimited number of the objects. Okay, so let's move back towards the stars. So stars generally they are uncount. Okay, stars they are uncount means in number stars are infinite. We can never count the all stars which are present in the sky. So they are unlimited, but they are countable. Okay, they are countable. It means we can separately count these stars. Okay, now let's move towards our lecture. So yesterday we learned the structure of there is and there are. So today we are going to learn the lecture number 8 in which we are going to learn the use of few, a few, some, any, much and many. Okay, in English grammar these words are known as the quantifiers. Okay, quantifiers. So if somewhere you found the use of quantifiers, you should be well known that quantifiers means the words which indicate the quantity of nouns. Okay, or in other words you can call them as the adjectives. Okay, so now let's move towards the first quantifier, which is few, and then a few. Okay, so let me just erase this people you are accountable. Do not go into these typical things. Just learn the use of these things, that where in which sentences you can use these quantifiers and make your paragraph, make your writing more attractive, more likable, more readable. Okay, so it's very simple. If you have a small quantity of the objects, then you are going to use few or a few. Okay, so few or a few are used for the smaller quantities. Okay, few and a few, they both are used for the smaller quantities. So now the major difference between few and a few is just a single. What is that? You use the word few where you have the small number of the objects, almost not any. Okay, almost one in number or two in number. Means if any quantity which is in two or one number means not many, then you are going to use few. But if the quantity is around two or three, then you are going to use a few. Okay, a few means some, two or three, while few means hardly one or two, hardly one or two. Okay, for example, I have quoted the two example here by using the words a few and few. So here you are, a few people arrived earlier in the class. Okay, it means a few means some students, some people arrived earlier in the class. Okay, but if you use few people, it means not many. Okay, like one or hardly two students arrived earlier, or people arrived earlier in the class. Okay, I hope it's clear now. Now let's move towards the next quantifiers. So we have two other quantifiers which are some and any. Again, they both are used for the smaller quantities. Okay, but just keep one thing in your mind. If a sentence is in affirmative or the sentence is positive, it is not showing any sense of negation or interrogation, then you are going to use the word some. But if any sort of negation or the interrogation is present in the sentence, then you are going to use any. Okay, for the entire positive sentences you are going to use some, and for the sentences which are negative or interrogative or negative interrogative, you are going to use any, the quantifier any. For example, I have quoted down the three examples for you in which I have used this use of some, any and any. For example, in number one sentence, it is there is some milk in the glass. So the sentence some shows that there is some milk in the glass. The quantity is smaller, but it's positive, it's not the negative. Okay, if there is no any milk in the glass, so we are going to quote the example like this: there is not any milk in the glass. Okay, here the sentence is in negative, so that's why we have used any instead of some. In the last sentence, the third number sentence, there is question. For example, is there any milk in the glass? So again, we have used any instead of some because the sentence is interrogative. Okay, so I hope you understood the use of some and any as well. Okay, the last two quantifiers of the day are much and many. Okay, so as I have got it down here, much and many, they both are used for the larger quantity. If you are mentioning the larger quantity of anything, then you are going to use much and many, these two quantifiers. The difference is quite clear. Much is always used for the things which are non-countable or uncountables, you can say, okay, the uncountable things. But if the things, the objects are countable, then you are going to use the quantifier many. Okay, so it was the reason for much and many that in the start of the lecture we learned the difference between countable and uncountables. Okay, I told you that the objects, the things which are in liquid form, which are in powdered form, the things which cannot be separated and then counted, with such type of the things we will use much. But if the things are quite easily separatable, then you are going to use the word many. Now let's code an example. For example, there is much dark outside. So we cannot measure the dark, we cannot count the dark. So that's why we have used the word much. You can also use the same sentence in the negative sense like this. There is not much salt in the jar. Okay, since we cannot count, we cannot separate and count the salt, so that's why we have used the word much. Similarly, we can use the word, the quantifier many with this example like there are many stars in the sky. Okay, so as I told you, you can separately count the stars. Alright, the stars are infinite, they are unlimited, but they are countable. Separately you can count the stars, so that's why we use many stars in the sky. Similarly, there are many hair on my head. Okay, similarly, you can also separate your hair one by one and you can count those. Let me show you. Okay, so there is a small confusion on the stars and hair. So as I told you, countable means separatable. So I can count my hair. I can, means take one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. It means I can count, but they are uncount. Means they are a lot of. They are infinite. They are unlimited. Okay, so that's why we use the word many there. Okay, so now just keep the use of few and a few in your mind. So similarly, there are two other synonyms used instead of few and a few. What are those? Instead of few, you can also use little. And a few, you can use a little. Okay, The use of little and a little is similar to that of the few and a few. A small difference is there. If you are writing any formal writing, you have to use few and a few, while little and a little, they shows the informal way. Okay, so if you are talking to someone, if you are speaking, then you can use little or a little, like a little bit, a little. Okay, like the same examples. A little people arrived earlier in the class. Little people arrived earlier in the class. So it's the same thing. Okay, but it is informal, while few and a few, they are formals. Okay, similarly, I have two more words. Those are lots of or a lot of. Okay, so lots of and a lot of, they both are used for the larger quantities, and almost they both are the synonyms to many and much. Okay, you can use lots of or a lot of instead of these. Again, lots of or a lot of, they both show the informal way. Okay, like the examples are, there is much dark outside. You can use there is a lot of dark outside, or you can use there is lots of dark outside. Okay, so you can use lots of or a lot of instead of much and many. Both can be replaced by lots of and a lot of. But again, as I told you, these are the informal ways of using. If you are speaking to someone, if you are having the chat with your friend, with someone else, you can use such type of the informal quantifiers or the determiners. Okay, but if you are writing down any paragraph, any story, then you have to use the formal way. It looks good. It makes your writings, your paragraphs more attractive. Okay, so I hope now you got today's lecture. Now if you have any question, you can send me the question in my WhatsApp group, or you can comment me. I will reply one by one. Okay, now if you have any question, do not send it in the comment box after the live video. You can ask me the question in my WhatsApp group. Okay, so that was all from me in today's lecture. I hope you understood. And what is your task now? You will repeat the same task that I assigned you yesterday to describe your cities, to describe your home. Now yesterday I just told you to use simple a and ein, or use the numbers there. Now today you can use these quantifiers in your examples as well. For example, there are a lot of tube lights in my home. There are some televisions in my home. There are many hospitals in my city. There are a few rivers in my city. Okay, you can use such type of the things. And please subscribe my videos on my YouTube channel. The name of the channel is Spark a Virtual Academy. I will also share the link of my YouTube channel as well. Okay, so see you tomorrow. Till tomorrow, take care and bye bye.